there were lots of shenanigans on that flight,
Yes.
no doubt about it. There were not a lot of shenanigans by the Auburn Tigers when they got to Houston. They locked in. It was two of their reserves on the plane that were left at Auburn when they had to go back to Auburn, call and get a new plane. And it really didn't seem to affect them all that much. Listen, I'll say this. Generally, I don't like watching these like slugfest, great defensive matchups. I like to see shots go in the basket. I like to see good offense more than good defense. I loved that first half. I absolutely loved it because you just saw like max effort on the defensive end. And most guys, what do? They save their energy, for the offensive end. These dudes are all locked in. They're playing hard as shit. They're getting after it. It's just, again, it's culture. It's culture that Kelvin Sampson and Bruce Pearl have built at, oh, by the way, two places that were garbage when they took it over. Like Auburn was considered one of the worst jobs in America. Houston had been one of the worst jobs in America for a while before Kelvin got it going. So this was a heck of a win for Auburn, for Bruce Pearl to go on the road after everybody's kind of mocking him for the last, 24 hours for this, whatever you want to call it, kerfuffle. I'll call it maybe on the plane. I don't know, but it didn't matter because they got the win.
Kerfuffle and then stuff. Yes. Doster, it was incredible. I mean, that's a huge, it was kerfuffleage. I mean, can you imagine having to turn around? I mean, that is like being in the car with mom and dad and you're on vacation and they're like, damn it, we're turning the car around. We're not going to Disney World. I mean, you're bad. You're in timeout for a while. You're grounded. You are grounded at that point, but it didn't seem to phase the team, Rob.
Well, the flip side to that is maybe Bruce Pearl just had his guys fight on the plane so they could get used to what it was going to be like to play offense against Houston's defense. That might have just been like part of the game plan, a part of his getting ready for the team ready for this performance. Look, Tahad Pedford off the bench had 21, hit 5 threes, made so many big shots late. Like he was ready for the moment. One of the questions we had about this Auburn team coming into the season was going to be what happens at the point guard spot. Like you look at the wings, right? And they got, even without Ja'Kai Howard and Jaheim Hudson, who weren't there, they have like 4 or 5 dudes on the wings that are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", can make some threes, can be switchable or big or long or athletic and are tough and could do the things that Bruce Pearl wants perimeter players to be able to do, right? They got Janai Broome, and we know how good he is. He was unbelievable in the second half. 20 points, 9 boards, 5 blocks, 2 steals, 2 assists, 10 for 15 from the floor. If he didn't take a dumb 3 the entire game, he would have been 10 for 11 from the floor, right? I thought he was fantastic. And then you got Dylan Cardwell, who is just like the ultimate glue guy, effort guy, knows who he is, and just does his job. The question was always going to be the backcourt, the point guard spot. Do you have somebody that can create something when this whole like up tempo, try to force turnovers, look for a quick 3 in transition, run a little offense? When that doesn't work, do you have a guy that can go get you a bucket? And it wasn't JP Pegues tonight. It wasn't Denver Jones tonight. It was Tahad Pedford. 21 points, 7 to 12 from the floor. He's a lefty. Of course, he is from New Jersey, Kenny Freeze. You knew he was going to be a bucket getter then. You knew he was going to be tough then. That was a terrific performance. I had my doubts, Kenny, about Auburn coming into this season. I did not. I think a lot of people had them as the second best team in the SEC. I did not. And I'm sitting here right now saying that I whiffed, that I got that one wrong. They just went into Houston, into the Toyota Center, and beat up on the Cougars in a game where they got look, they could have been down by 15 at the half if they didn't bank in 2 threes and bank in the shot right before halftime. I thought that was a really, really, really impressive second half, and I could say really 17 times.
Yeah, first of all, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall on that plane because something I don't know what happened, but for them to turn the plane around, it had to have been something insane. Because I've seen some weird stuff happen in my day, but that's I don't know. But anyway, if they're able to go they're able to go.
Can you expand on that, Kenny? Can you expand on that? What's the
he was on a lot of planes with Chris Mack. That was the problem.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. So they're able to go in and do what they did today to Houston. They can do that to any team in the country, in my opinion. They were physical. Within the first 5 minutes of the game, I thought that the winner of the game was going to have 50 points. I think you're right, Jeff, that it was fun to watch that defensive type game. Normally, I'm not a big fan of it, but the way that they were doing it, it's an aggressive defense. It's not just like a pack line, hold the ball, trying to score low games. They're pushing the ball on offense, and obviously it's two great defenses going head to head. But just first play of the game, there's a turnover. They're taking the ball out of bounds underneath, and they have two guys with their back to the out of bounds, and they're waiting, and they're playing full court defense from the first second of the game on defense. And it was interesting to watch, and I had fun watching it when we were able to.
Janai Broom, 20 points.
Hey, Charlie.
Go ahead, Goodman. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
you're good. Pedford is the perfect Bruce Pearl guard, is he not? Like, he's small. Mm-hmm. He can go get his. He's tough. He doesn't give a shit. He can get past the next play. Like, nothing's a bad shot for Pedford. And Bruce has had some of these guys. Some have worked out. Some of them hadn't. The most recent that hasn't is Aiden Holloway, who's gone across the state to Alabama. I think this kid's going to work out. I do. He's so electric. That's the one. Like, Aiden Holloway wasn't nearly so. This kid can go get one. And honestly, like, you look at it, they had the best two players on the court tonight overall. The two guys who could score. And that's the differentiator for me is you still look at this Houston team, and I know we'll probably get to him here in a second. Like, I'm not sure they have that guy right now. Like, Terrence Arsenault, I hope, can be that guy. Sharp maybe can be that guy, but we're not seeing that yet. We saw it from Pedford tonight that, like, you can just give him the ball, clear out, and he's going to be able to make something out of nothing.
Here's the only thing that I'll say, and I agree with everything you said, but the only thing that I'll say is, one, differentiator is not a word. And two, Aiden Holloway last year in the first game of the season, remember, it was actually in the Pentagon up in South Dakota, up in Sioux Falls. He had 19 points and 6 assists against Baylor. A week later, he had 15 points in a win against Notre Dame. In December, he had, I think it was 24 in a win over Indiana. So, like, early in the year, we saw Aiden Holloway do all of that. And then you got to league play. Then you got to the teams that knew what Auburn wanted to do, that were better scouted.
Make a play off the bounce, Rob. The difference is this kid can make a play.
I agree.
He's got.
I agree with what you're saying. Well, my only point is that doing it at Houston is incredibly impressive. Yeah, I want to see him be able to sustain that, so it's not just one game where he pops. You know what I mean? Like, I need to see more than just one game before I'm all in on it. But, like, it's very hard to not sit here and get carried away and say, holy shit, Auburn is awesome.